Hi, it's Rick Quattro from Carmen Publishing Incorporated. Thanks for watching my webinar here. We're going to give you a little bit of an auto number primer. If you're new to FrameMaker, this will help you to understand how auto numbers work in FrameMaker. And it's one of FrameMaker's strongest features. So if you understand how they work, you can use them in your own templates and publications. So first of all, let's start with a blank portrait document. And if we look at this document, we've got the paragraph catalog open and the paragraph designer, and we can see that a default FrameMaker template comes with some default paragraph format. So let's just add a little bit of content here, and then we'll show you what auto numbers look like in FrameMaker. So this is a body paragraph that doesn't have any kind of an auto number on it. And then we have this bulleted paragraph format in the catalog. And then you can see as we hit return, we automatically get bullets. And these are done with auto numbers. Now, if we look at the paragraph designer here, if we bring this up and we make sure that we're on the fourth button from the left, this is the auto number, the numbering tab or the numbering pane, we can see that this auto number format checkbox is checked. So this paragraph has an auto number format. And really all this is just a literal bullet character followed by a /t, and the /t is a special sequence for a tab character. And you can see that this is exactly what we get on the screen. Let me just zoom up a little bit here. So every time we hit enter, we automatically get the bullet and the tab character. This, of course, the tab stop is set as part of the paragraph format. If we look over here, we can see that there's a tab stop at 1/4 inch. So this is just a literal number in here, a literal character. It's not really a number, but it's a character. Now we can have other kinds. Let's create a new format here. We'll start with nothing, no auto number, and we'll just call this, for example, note. So we want a note paragraph format, and we're going to use literal text in here. So we're just going to put note in here, and then we'll follow it by a non-breaking space, which is indicated by a backslash space. We'll click apply, and we'll add this, and this is a note paragraph. So whenever we want to put a note in, we can just use the note paragraph format in our catalog, and we don't have to type in the word note. It's automatically going to be there. And again, it's a little misleading as we look at the terminology. It says auto number format, and we're not really displaying a number here. We're displaying some literal text. But what often will happen is you will use these for numbers, and there's an example built into the template here. So we'll just look at this. So let's say that we're going to have some procedures in our document. So this might be a procedure. And then what we want to do is we want to number the steps in the procedure. So we actually have an auto number format that's called numbered 1. So we click there and we actually get a number 1 followed by a period, and we can put some text in here. Now if we hit return, we're going to get a number 2. Now what you may notice here is that it's actually a different paragraph format. So this is the second one, and you can see it uses the format numbered. If you look in the paragraph catalog here, you see that it's bold. If we click here, this uses numbered 1. Now the reason it's switched is because in the format here, it should say next paragraph tag numbered, and I don't actually see that there. It's blacked out. This may actually be a bug, because really it should say numbered. Let's just try this here. Yeah, and I think that's really what it should be. I'm not sure why it showed as blank, but anyways, so whenever I have a first step in here and I hit return, I'm automatically going to get the number 2. Okay, so let's look at the building blocks for these. So if we look here for our numbered 1, we have n equals 1. Now anything in this angled brackets here, these are actually counters. These are actually building blocks. These will actually increment either a number, a letter, a Roman numeral, or whatever we've chosen to put in here. So whenever you see something inside the angled brackets, that's going to actually do something. That's actually going to change the content based on the position in the document. Now, the reason we have an n equals 1 is this. Let's make a copy of this paragraph, and let's paste it here. Now, if we had a second procedure later on in the document, we would want this first step to start at step 1. So that's the reason we have the n equals 1, because we can put our cursor here and we can say, well, use numbered 1 here, and that will reset this to number 1 because the building block is n equals 1. And then, of course, the following steps use the n plus, so they'll increment. And so that's why we have a reset format, we might call that, an n equals 1 format. So, and one other thing I'll show you here before we get into something a little more complex is we can also apply character formats to our auto number. So for example, here, we may want to make the word note italicized, for example. So if we look over here in the designer, we have character format, and currently it's the default paragraph format. So it's not going to give us any kind of a difference. But let's say, for instance, we choose emphasis, which is built into the template here, and we click update all. What will happen is this emphasis format will be applied to the auto number only. So the word note will be italicized, but the rest of the paragraph will be normal. So we have the option of doing that. Now, any character format that you have existing in the document will show in the list, and we only have 2 here in this default portrait document. So let's change this back. And then the other thing you can do here, let me zoom back out. We could actually put the auto number at the end of the paragraph if we wanted. So let's try this and see what happens. So I'm going to make this end of paragraph, click update all, and of course then the word note and the colon and the non-breaking space start at the end. This is a little bit of a rare setting. You typically don't use this, but you could use it if you had some kind of a section indication or some kind of a marker that you wanted to mark for a certain kind of paragraph format. You may want it to come at the end of the paragraph instead of at the beginning, but just so you know that that's available. So let's put it back at the start. Now let's talk about some more complicated situations. These are kind of the basics of auto numbering, and in a lot of cases they work just fine. But what if we wanted to do something a little more complex? Let's delete this. And let's say we were creating an outline, and we wanted the outline to have several levels to it. So let's just rough this out a little bit. So let's say our first level, let's call this, the first level would be level 1, and then we would have level 2, level 3, level 4, and level 5. And each one of these levels is going to have a different auto number on it, a different prefix on the front. So let's say we want this to be Roman numerals. So we'll just add a Roman numeral. And then we want this second level to have a letter, uppercase letter on it. And just to make this stick out a little bit, we'll add some indents here when we create the formats. In fact, let's create them as we go. So this would be level 1. And we'll go here. And this one will be 0. Apply. This one would be level 2. We'll call this one level 2. And we'll indent this one a 1/4 inch from the left. Apply. So this will kind of make this stick out for us. Then this will be level 3. And we'll make this a 1/2 inch just to give us a little bit of a visual here. And this one we would want, let's say, a number on the front of it, number period. This one, let's do lowercase. This one's going to be level 4. This one we'll do, let's see, we're at 1/2, so we'll do this one 3/4. And this one we'll put lowercase letters on it. And finally we'll do Roman numerals, and this one would be at the 1 inch mark. Call this one level 5. So we're creating a series of paragraph formats that we're going to use for our outline. And we're going to try to get some automatic numbering in here. So this would be a Roman numeral. Okay. And so we'll do update all. So what, of course, what we want to happen here is, when we create a new level 2, we want this automatically to be B, and then the next one would be C, and so on. And let's just rough this out so we can see what we would want here. And then same thing here. If we added a new level 3, we would want this to be this would be a number 2. On a level 3, this would be number 3 on a level 3, and so on. So I think you kind of see what we're doing here. Now, of course, if we have a if we have a larger outline, let's copy and paste that. What we would want to happen, obviously, is we would want this to be Roman numeral 2, and then the rest of them to reset. So let's start setting this up. Let's see what we can do here as far as auto numbers, and we'll go based on what we already know. So what we would think here is, since this is going to be an uppercase Roman numeral, we would think we could do something like this. We could do capital R plus, and let's do update all. And well, we get our plus, but what we're getting is we're not getting the first one. We're getting a 2 here, and we're getting a 3 here. And so that's obviously not what we want. But let's just rough this out and get what we're going to get. And so what we'd want here is a capital A plus, because we want uppercase numbers. Now what we should do here is let's put in our period and our a non-breaking space, so we can delimit these. And I think we can see now why we got what looked like a 2 before. So let's just do this, update all, and we'll do this one here. So what is this going to be? This is going to be n plus, because this is a number, and we're going to follow it by a period and a backslash space, and that's going to give us this. And right away now you can start to see what our problem is really going to be. But let's put these in. This is going to be lowercase a plus period slash space, gives us a non-breaking space. And then this one, of course, is going to be lowercase r plus for lowercase Roman numerals. And we'll put the period in the backslash. And let's click update all. So what we have now is we have our basic auto numbers. But what we can see, the real problem is that we have basically sequential numbering. So we've got Roman numeral 1, B, C, D, 5, 6, 7, H, I, and this would be J in Roman numerals, K, L, M, and so on. So what we've got is we've got sequential numbering all the way through. And of course, the reason they look different, obviously, is because we've got Roman numerals on some, letters on the others, numbers, lowercase, and so on. But what we want to happen, obviously, is we want to reset these as appropriate, depending on where they fall in the outline. So we'll show you how to do that. Now, the first thing we want to do is we want to count how many levels we have. And we know that we have 5 levels. So we have level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, and level 5. And I see from the catalog here I misspelled level, so I'm going to fix that real quick. I'm going to put an L in there, and just, if I click update all, it'll rename that, so I'll be all set. And I'm going to delete that one I don't need. Delete. Okay, so now we're where we should be. Okay, so we have 5 levels. Now, since we have 5 paragraph formats that we're dealing with, and we have 5 separate levels. So the first thing we need to do is let's go back to level 1, and let's put our cursor in here. Whenever you have a series of paragraphs that number together, which these do, where the numbering is related to each other, we call this a series. And what we need to do is create a series label. And a series label can be any upper or lowercase letter, and it doesn't matter what it is, but it's followed by a colon. Now we're going to use O because we're creating an outline, but we could have used A, we could have used C, we could have used whatever we wanted. So let's click update all. We added the series label here. And already that starts to straighten things out. Now what we want to do though is we want to have some kind of a building block or a placeholder for all the different levels in our series. So we have 5 levels, so we need 5 building blocks. So we're just going to put in these placeholders here, and we'll explain these here. Now, what do we want to do to the levels below level 1? Every time we have a new level 1, what do we want to do with the numbers below them? Well, we want to reset them to 0 because we want the numbers or letters to start over. So we have a special building block that's space equals 0. Now the reason there's a space in there is we don't want the number to show, but we want to reset it to 0. So we have this special building block called space equals 0. So we need 4 of these. So I'm just going to copy and I'm going to paste these. Now again, what do we look at here? We've got 5 levels we're dealing with, so we need 5 of these building blocks, and we have 5. So we're going to do update all. Now let's go to the next one. Now this is level 2. Now we've called it level 2, but what I want you to think of is it's the second paragraph format in the series. In other words, it's the second level down from the top level. And so this building block has to be in the second position. So let's rough this out. So we're going to put in our series label, and we're going to put a blank one in here because we don't want to show the number or show the letter, but we need a placeholder for it. So this is the placeholder for level 1. Here's level 2. And what do we want to do with everything below it? Well, we want to reset everything below it to 0. And how many levels do we have below a level 2? We have level 3, level 4, level 5. So we have 3 of them. So we're going to do this. And we're going to click update all. And you can already see that we're starting to get better results here. We're starting to get some resetting of these paragraphs below these levels. So we're going to go on to level 3. Now again, we need the series label. So all these formats in this series are going to get the series label. Now this is the third one in the series, so we need 2 blanks, 2 blank placeholders before it. And then what do we want to do to the 2 levels that are below us? We're at level 3. What do we want to do to 4 and 5? We want to reset them to 0. And we click update all. And finally, we're going to do these. Did we do 4? No, we have to do 4 first. Okay, so we need O, colon. And so we're at the 4th position, so we need 3 of these. Level 1, level 2, level 3, and now we're at level 4. And what do we do with level 5? We're going to reset it to 0. Click update all. And now finally we go to level 5. And this one is a little bit easier because we just need 4 placeholders in front. So we need our series label. We need a blank placeholder for our 4 levels above. So we'll just copy and paste that. So there's level 1, 2, 3, 4. And of course the 5th level is going to do the counting. It's going to be lowercase Roman numeral plus. We click update all. And there we have it. Now let's hide the text symbols. So you can see we didn't need to do to have any kind of equals 1 formats like we did with the numbering example that we showed you earlier, because what happens is the formats above in the series take care of the resetting for the numbers below. So if we add a new level here, this is B, C, and then this becomes Roman numeral 2, 3, and so on. If for some reason we go back to another level 4 here, this is going to be D, E. If we go back to another level 3, that's going to be 4. So you can see we've got this automatic series numbering going on, and once it's set up, it's totally automatic for us. So that's a little bit more complicated aspect of auto numbering, but that's basically all there is to it. And we will show you some tips in another movie on how to make this even easier to set up and to understand. But thank you for watching.